It's no secret that Star Wars Battlefront 2's initial release was marred by microtransactions and an unsatisfactory lack of content. The game has come a long way to add a ton of content and make improvements to the poorly received mechanics and features, though only through a dedicated effort. Star Wars Battlefront 2 has received over 20 updates in total, all of which were eventually made available for free to all players. It is now a much more popular game than it was back then. The finished version of Star Wars Battlefront 2 is still worth playing, especially for movie fans and former players. Though others have come close, this Star Wars game is unmatched in its ability to accurately portray the movie characters and prominent locations from throughout the film series. The game has content for fans of every era of Star Wars, including timeless single-player content. Thanks to all the updates and ongoing player support that keeps the servers populated. S tier. For players who liked the original campaign, the Resurgence epilogue of Last Jedi season stands out as one of the best updates. With a plot comparable to the one in the movie Rogue One, this campaign extension puts an end to Iden Versio's legacy. With the added sentiment of incorporating characters from the most recent movie trilogy, Resurgence condenses all the best parts of the vanilla campaign into a more manageable but still entertaining ride. Additionally, Captain Phasma and Finn, two of the best Star Wars Battlefront 2 heroes for team support, were added in the update. Progress update. The previous progression system, which rewarded loot boxes rather than real advancement, was both randomized and commercialized. With this update, the possibility to acquire character skins and essential star cards changed to a wholly linear means of acquisition. The loot box purchase option was completely eliminated shortly after this update, and the rewards were moved to in-game challenges. Given the circumstances of such a significant overhaul to its horrendous launch of microtransactions comparable to Diablo Immortal, this early dedication to providing a positive player experience shouldn't go unacknowledged. Update for Night on Endor. The fan-favorite Ewok hunt eventually made a permanent comeback in a later update to the game after only appearing for a brief period at first. It is impossible to overstate how warmly the player base received this game mode. In addition, 40 skins for different weapon-based trooper characters were added, along with 8 skins for hero characters that were themed around Endor. Han Solo Season. Players could use hero characters right away in the new Hero Showdown without first earning them through the battle points system within a regular match. Additionally, Starship Arcade is introduced. Before being fully realized later in the separate game Star Wars Squadrons, this space arena filled a need for fans of Star Wars video games. Another feature of this update was the Hunt Extraction game mode, but given the update's other main features, there isn't anything particularly thematic about it. Update for Capital Supremacy. By including a themed version of Battlefield's Conquest mode, the Capital Supremacy mode added here proudly displays the influence of developer DICE's prior games. Additional changes to the current stamina system for lightsaber combat, new reinforcement characters between heroes and troopers, and maps for the new game mode, including expansive ship interiors, were also included in the update. In this Star Wars iteration, the classic Battlefield gameplay works particularly well, especially on such stunning maps. Cooperative update. This update brought with it the potent Clone Commander reinforcement unit, new maps on the planet Felucia, and co-opus and instant action PvE game modes. Players in the 4-player co-opus and the single-player instant action modes face off against waves of difficult enemy AI on various Star Wars maps and eras. Both of these game modes offer players a worthwhile alternative to playing against other players by letting them advance and complete tasks that follow the same logic as the PvP game modes. These PvE modes enable the multiplayer experience to last longer than games that shut down their servers, despite the fact that the servers are currently populated. A tier. Another Night on Endor. This update expands the popular Star Wars Infection game mode, Ewok Hunt, to include a second Endor map. Outside of multiplayer, the ominous game mode Ewok Hunt is still not available in cooperative or single-player settings. The Felucia map was added to Heroes vs. Villains. 5 already existing maps were added to co-opus, and Han Solo and Luke received new skins inspired by the Yavin 4 ceremony in the A New Hope movie. Age of Rebellion update. This update adds a ton of the older maps to the cooperative mode, including brand new ship interior maps for both this mode and Heroes vs. Villains. The ISB agent and Ewok Hunter show up as reinforcement units. Additionally, each of the 4 trooper classes receives a new primary weapon, some of which improve upon the best blasters in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Introducing the first Geonosis map with novel and exclusive land vehicles was the Battle of Geonosis update. The hero character, General Obi-Wan Kenobi, was also added in this update, along with more clone trooper skins. Given its greater relevance in other media, this update is a treat for fans of the Clone Wars era of Star Wars and video games. Battle on Scarif update. The last update for Star Wars Battlefront 2 adds maps from the planet Scarif and an offline PvE game mode with programmable match settings. The other game modes are now updated to appropriate versions of each of the game's currently available maps, with Scarif serving as the universal map for all game modes. Both new and old characters receive character-inspired skins, and ships from the most recent film trilogy join the Starfighter modes. General Grievous Update. This update introduced a Naboo cruiser ship, a Separatist commander, and General Grievous. Additionally, it strengthened the Squad Systems update and gave new hero star cards, which are advantages in Star Wars Battlefront 2, to heroes whose previous advantages were infrequently used. B-tier. All of the maps from the newest film trilogy's locations have been added to Capital Supremacy and Instant Action, and Capital Supremacy has also received the addition of 2 new ship interiors. The first droid heroes, BB-8, and its dark side counterpart, BB-90, are also presented. This update acknowledges the potential power of droids in the Star Wars universe by including droid hero characters. The Chosen One Update. This one changed the clone trooper appearances with new armor skins and added Anakin Skywalker, among other visual changes. Even after several nerfs to the character after his introduction to the game, Anakin is still one of the top heroes in Star Wars Battlefront 2. The Ajan-Kloss planet and the pre-existing maps from the most recent film trilogy were added to the co-opus game mode by the Rise of Skywalker update. Added skins for Finn, Rey, and Kylo Ren are based on their updated movie appearances. The Sith Trooper and Jet Trooper, as well as the Gunner and Spy units, were new reinforcement units that joined the First Order. In Star Wars Battlefront 2, these 2 factions now each have 3 reinforcements units, which fill the space between troops and hero characters. Where are the Droidekas update? This update added a Capital Supremacy variant of an existing map, character skins, and 2 reinforcements for the Separatist Alliance faction. Both the TX-130 tank reinforcement and the Droideka reinforcement were added as ground and vehicle units, respectively. C-tier. Celebration Update. The newest purchasable version of the game includes every cosmetic skin from the initial launch until this point. This update also added skins for Clone Wars-era reinforcement units. While getting every skin in one fell swoop may entice new fans to join the fight, existing players welcomed the skins for reinforcements, which are categorically few in total. Exclusively including cosmetics, this purchasable version of the game demonstrates that Star Wars Battlefront 2 seconds pay-to-win launch was learned from. Darth Tyrannus Update. This update complements the Geonosis update by adding Geonosis maps to the remaining game modes beyond Capital Supremacy. Specifically, the map was added to Heroes vs. Villains, Blast, and the custom arcade game modes. Also featured was the hero character, Count Dooku. Hero Starfighters Update. This mode replicates the Starship Battles mode, allowing players to exclusively use Heroes' starship vehicles. As a consequence, this version of Starship Fighters comes with a significantly smaller player team size, with the standard Starship Fighters mode including more action per the increased total of players and the existence of hero vehicles there too. Hero Starfighters mode offers little other than emulating the success of Heroes vs. Villains with nostalgic vehicles. Heroes vs. Villains Rework. Another smaller expansion, this update modifies the scoring system in Heroes vs. Villains, along with the achievements and challenges tied to that system. The old Heroes vs. Villains granted score upon defeating a targeted character on the opposing team, and in this update, the targeting system was removed in favor of every kill generating score instead. This update also added a map variant for Capital Supremacy. The recognizable sound from their powerful blasters in the bubble shield of the Droideka is among the most infamous character features throughout Star Wars. Update from Roger. This one added ship interior maps to the Heroes vs. Villains mode, droid character skins, and squad system update enhancements. The newest ship interior locations are the Venerator of the Galactic Republic and the Dreadnought of the First Order. Players can respawn on captured command posts thanks to the final update to squad systems' quality of life improvements. D-tier. Regardless of disagreements, Capital Supremacy on Kashyyyk. This update is significantly smaller than others. This update's sole feature is a new playable map variation. Although Kashyyyk was already a playable map, Capital Supremacy did not have access to it prior to this update. The Elite Core update added 2 new maps and skins for clone troopers, and it also made Ewok Hunt a permanent mode. Even though this update didn't add anything new to the game mode beyond availability, it was inevitable that Ewok Hunt would return. Instead, a second playable map would be included in a later update to Ewok Hunt. Since its main feature wasn't a permanent addition, the February update ranks among the game's smaller updates. The Jetpack Cargo mode, which only featured characters with jetpacks, made its debut in this update for a brief period but was not well received by players. The Hoth-themed skins for Han Solo, Leia Organa, and Luke Skywalker are among the features of this update that will endure indefinitely. Squad System Update. It added more clone trooper skins and introduced the Spawn on Squadmate quality of life change. Even after later upgrades, the Respawn on Squadmate feature isn't quite as unrestricted as it is in the Battlefield game series. Though it has already been mentioned, the squad feature is only really used sparingly, especially in online multiplayer. At most, it reduces travel distance. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is currently worth any fan's time, at least in the interim of other upcoming Star Wars games and media. Although the game has always been visually appealing, there is now enough content to experience any period of Star Wars history thanks to the addition of several recognizable vehicles, characters, and locations. It's difficult to fathom how the game could have turned around from its harshly received initial release to ultimately set a high bar for subsequent Star Wars video games and film adaptations alike. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and support my channel.